Hi there, and welcome to Wordly Wise Book 5, Lesson 5. I'm Teacher Ulrich, and today let's start with this brand new lesson. It's time for us to begin with day 1 of Lesson 5. So be sure to have your Wordly Wise Book 5 ready to go. This lesson will have 5 days. And today we start to get to know the new words. So we'll have a look at the 15 words from Word List 5. Let's talk about the different meanings of these words. Before we start, let's talk about kinds of words. Do you remember nouns? Nouns are name words. We use nouns for names of people, places, and things. Verbs. Verbs are doing words. Anything you or something can do, that's a verb. ADJ, that's the abbreviation for, can you guess? Adjective. Great. An adjective tells you more about the noun. It tells you how big, how small, how good, how bad. It just tells you more about the noun. Usually, it comes just before the noun. Usually, not always. And then, ADV is an adverb. Adverbs are words we use to describe verbs. They add to the verb. They tell you how something is done. Great. Now, let's get started with Lesson 5's word list. The first word is avalanche. Launch. We can see the pronunciation here. Avalanche, we can see, has 2 noun meanings. The first meaning for avalanche is a great mass of ice, earth, or snow mixed with rocks sliding down a mountain. So that's the name of an avalanche, right? The mountain climbers had a narrow escape when the avalanche swept over them. Can you see the avalanche here? It's going to sweep over that jeep. An avalanche can be very dangerous. The second noun meaning for avalanche is the name of a great amount of something. So we can use this to name any great amount of something. The company had an avalanche of orders because of their online ad for the new game. So they had a great deal of orders, an avalanche of orders. Whew, I'm so full. I had an avalanche for dinner. I had a great deal to eat for dinner. Next, it's blizzard. Blizzard is a noun. It's the name of a heavy snowstorm with strong winds. I've never seen a blizzard. Have you been in a blizzard? Great. In my country, there aren't any blizzards. South Africa barely has snow, especially where I live, Johannesburg. We don't have snow ever, so never mind a blizzard. Where do you live? Do you sometimes experience blizzard weather? Looks very cold, right? The Chicago airport had to close for 2 days because of the blizzard. Wow. Next, it's challenge. Challenge has 3 verb meanings and 2 noun meanings. Let's first cover the verb meanings. First verb, challenge, is to invite others to take part in a contest. I challenge you to a basketball game. I challenge you to a chess match. It's something I do. I challenged my friend to a game of chess. The second meaning, also a verb meaning, challenge, is to cause a person to use a lot of skill or effort. So something can challenge you. A test can really challenge you. It can cause a person to use a lot of skill or effort, right? A school project can challenge you. It can cause you to use a lot of skill and effort. You have to read a lot, do a lot of research. The trail challenges even the best hikers. See, the trail, the route they have to walk, it challenges them. The third verb meaning, challenge. To question or to argue against, especially when something is unfair or unjust. So to argue or question someone when they do something unfair or unjust. Hey, why does my sister or brother get more money than I do? That's not fair. Do you ever challenge your parents over things like that? I would never dare. They would say, hey, don't challenge me. Something like that. Challenge. Very few scientists challenge the idea that a large meteorite killed off the last of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. So very few scientists challenge that theory. Now let's get to the verb meanings. The noun meanings. So these are name words, right? Challenge. First, challenge as a noun means, or it's the name for an interesting task or problem. Something that takes skill or effort. So this noun meaning challenged is related to this verb meaning. So the verb is something that causes you to use great skill or effort. What do you call that thing? You call it a challenge. Now if you use the word like that, it is a noun. So the hike is a challenge. It is a challenge. The hike challenges me. That's a verb. The hike is a challenge. Now it's a noun. Living out of our backpacks for a week on the mountain was a real challenge. So that is what they call their experience, a challenge. What happened to you? What experience have you had that you can name a challenge? Once I was on a small bus with lots of other people for 12 hours when I drove from Beijing to Inner Mongolia, to Khokhot, the capital of Neymangwa. That was a challenge for me. Can you give an example? Great. Now the second noun meaning, challenge, is the name of a call to take part in a contest. So this noun meaning has to do with that verb meaning. So if you challenge someone, then it's the verb. I challenge you to a soccer match. Are you ready for our soccer challenge? Now that's the noun meaning. It's very subtle. Just as it's most important that you just understand the meaning of the word. If you understand how nouns and verbs work, then this would be easy for you. Great. Next up is conquer. Conquer. Conquer has two verb meanings and one noun. The first verb, conquer, means to get the better of. So you can conquer something or conquer someone. Swimming lessons at the YMCA, that's something in America, helped me conquer my fear of the water. So this person had a fear of the water, but swimming lessons helped them get the better of that fear. Have you ever conquered any of your fears? If you are afraid of cold water, you could go into a cold swimming pool or have a cold shower to conquer your fear of cold water. The second meaning means to defeat. To defeat. To defeat someone means to win them. Our team conquered the visiting team, even though our 2 star players were benched. They sat out. So who conquered this race? This boy conquered the race. He conquered them. He defeated them in the race. Do you prefer to conquer another team or to be conquered by another team? To conquer is always better, right? Now on to the noun meaning. So this word we say, it's a different form of the word conquer. It's conquest. Conquest is a noun. It's the name of the act of defeating. The movie was about the conquest of Earth by creatures from another planet. When you read history books, you'll read this word a lot. European sailors or countries conquered many other countries. Next up, it's crevice. Crevice is a noun. It's the name of a deep, narrow opening in rock caused by a split or crack. Look at this huge crevice. Would you go over that crevice? Looks scary, right? The crevice had filled with soil in which a cluster of small red flowers was growing. So crevice is a narrow, deep opening or crack in rock. It doesn't have to be this big, can be smaller, but usually it's not just a small crack. Foolhardy. Foolhardy is an adjective. We use this word to describe unwisely bold or daring. So this guy is definitely foolhardy for feeding this crocodile in a swamp. Ugh, that looks dangerous, bold, daring, foolhardy. I would be foolhardy to go swimming during a gale. Gale is a strong wind, you remember? Great. What's the most foolhardy thing you've ever done? Maybe skydiving, bungee jumping. Next up, it's lure. Lure. This is how you pronounce it. Lure. Lure has a verb and 2 noun meanings. First, the verb. This is something you do. To lure is to attempt or attract, to tempt or to attract with the promise of something good. Come to my house and we can play my new game. I have ice cream and nice snacks. I'm luring you to my house for some reason. In the early 19th century, the hope of owning land of their own lured many people to travel west to Ohio and Indiana. Now this is in the United States. The hope of owning land, that is what lured the people to that place. The beautiful scenery, the Eiffel Tower, and the good food is what lures many people to Paris. The noun meaning lure is the name of something that attracts. The lure of fresh air led us to the park for a walk. So the lure here was the fresh air. The lure, something that attracts. What is a lure? The lure of your country. Why do people want to visit your country? The lure of wild animals and good food is why many people visit my country, South Africa. The lure of what is why many people visit your country. The second noun meaning is the name for artificial. Artificial means not real. Artificial bait used for fishing. These are fishing lures. A large striped bass took the lure and I hooked it. So, lure is artificial bait used for fishing. Study these three different meanings carefully. Next up, it's makeshift. Makeshift has a noun and adjective meaning. First, the noun. Makeshift is the name of a temporary and usually less strong replacement. We had the camper as we used the camper as a makeshift while our house was being built. So remember, a temporary and usually less strong replacement. This is a makeshift boat. Temporary, so you can't really use it for long, and it's less strong than a real boat, right? So it's a makeshift boat. A tent can be a makeshift house. It's temporary and less strong. The adjective, describing word, makeshift is a word we use to describe things used as a temporary replacement. Very easy. So you would say makeshift boat, makeshift house, makeshift hat. If you just take a piece of paper or a box and you put it on your head, say it's my makeshift hat. You use the word to describe a noun. Next up, it's optimist. Remember from the previous lesson we learned pessimist, which means someone who expects the worst. Now optimist, the noun optimist means, or is the name for one who looks at things in the most positive way. A cheerful, hopeful person. She looks like an optimist, won't you say? Are you an optimist? I think I am. Jade and John are optimists, and so, of course, they believe the bus would not leave without us. They think the best will happen. Describe this glass to me. Is it half full or half empty? If you say it's half full, then you're an optimist. If you say the glass is half empty, you're a pessimist. So that's also saying Jade is a glass half full kind of person, which means she's an optimist. I am a glass half full kind of person. I'm an optimist. How about you? Are you a glass half empty kind of person? I thought not. Optimistic is a different form of the word. It's an adjective. Optimistic is something we use to describe people who are cheerful and hopeful. In spite of the injuries to our best players, I am optimistic about our chance of winning the big game. Optimism is a different form of the word with a noun meaning. Optimism is the name of a feeling of hope or cheerfulness. So I feel optimism for something. An optimist is someone who feels that way all the time for everything. Optimism is that feeling you feel about a specific thing. The patient's optimism helped them to recover more quickly from their illnesses. My optimism about the test I wrote makes me feel better about it. Do you feel optimism about something? That you will remember all these meanings? Next, previous. Previous is an adjective. It means the same as earlier, happening before. December 2019. This is the previous December. Not the current one, the previous one. Although I missed the last practice, I attended the 2 previous ones, the ones that came before. So December 2018 is not the previous December, because now it's 2020. So previous can only be 2019, the previous year. Next up, it's route. Route has 2 noun meanings. First, it's the name of the path that must be followed to get to a place. See, this is the route, the path that has to be followed to get to the place. This guy is not on the route. The second meaning is a fixed, so that it's a name for a fixed course or area assigned to a salesperson or delivery person. Magali has over 100 customers on her newspaper route. So that's a specific road or a specific area used by a salesperson or delivery person. So this girl, Magali, she has a newspaper route. So she goes and she delivers newspapers to people on a specific or in a specific area. This is a bus route. It's the specific road or course that the bus takes, the bus route. Next up, it's summit. Summit has 2 noun meanings. First, it's the name for the highest part, the top. It took us 3 hours to climb to the summit of Mount Washington. This is the summit of this mountain. It's the highest top. To climb to the highest top is to summit the mountain. That's a verb meaning, but that meaning is not given here. These meanings given to these vocabulary words are not all the meanings that there are. So if you would like to learn more about the word, only after you understand these meanings, you can go check them in the Oxford Dictionary. Go check them out. Have a look. So the summit is the highest part of a mountain, the top. The second name for summit is a conference or meeting of the top leaders of government. This is the South African president, the president of my country. Here he is at a national summit against gender-based violence. and femicide. So gender-based violence is violence against women. So this is a summit, a meeting to talk about violence against women, which is bad, of course. So that's the summit. I'm sure the government hold annual summits in your town or city too, right? Do you pay attention to the summits that happen? Great. Next up, it's terse. Terse. Terse is an adjective. We use this word to describe short and to the point. So how people reply, we say terse. A terse reply, short and to the point. Do you like chocolate ice cream with sprinkles on them? Yeah. That's a terse response. Yeah, yes, sure. Terse. When I said I was sure we would be rescued soon, my friend's terse reply was, how? Who gives a terse reply here? His wife says, don't just, yes, dear me, I'm not just a blah, 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 blah. He says, yes, dear. That's a terse reply, short and to the point. Next up, it's thwart. 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 Thwart is a verb. It means to block or defeat the plans or efforts of. So something can thwart your plans, or you can thwart someone else's plans by blocking or defeating their plans. Heavy flooding thwarted the UN's attempts to deliver food. Let's read this comic. Actually, I never had any desire to go into that field until they built this fence. So this fence thwarts their idea or plan to go into the field. It blocks them, stops them, defeats their plans. The rain thwarted my plans for a picnic. Next up, it's vertical. Vertical is an adjective, so we use this to describe something. It means running straight up and down, upright, vertical. That's a vertical line. If you jump in a vertical line, you jump up. If it's like this, do you remember? It's horizontal. Yes. The black vertical lines in this painting are what one notices first. Vertical. Friends, and that's it for day 1. Well done, and thanks for joining me for lesson 5, day 1. Remember to practice these meanings by yourself and to join me next for day 2. Friends, until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.